This is Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. You are welcome. I am Nolin Ebel-Ame with the news. Let's begin from the judiciary, where the Supreme Court has upheld the election of Adeleke as the duly elected governor of Osun State. The five-man panel of justices headed by Justice John Okoro in a unanimous decision dismissed the appeal of the former governor Boyega Oyetola against Adeleke. Justice Emmanuel Ajim, who delivered the verdict, dismissed the appeal of Boyega Oyetola for lacking in merit. We now join Femi Afariogun in Ede, Osun State, for the latest development over there as regards the court ruling. Femi, what is the ambience like there?
Thank you very much. The atmosphere is frenzy here. I'm currently in the country home of Governor Adeleke. The people here are happy. You can see they are all jubilating, driving around the streets of Ede. They are joyous about the judgment delivered today in favor of their son, Senator Adeleke. I have one of the people that are happy here with me with the judgment. Hello, sir. Your name?
Yeah, my name is Honorable Babajide Kofola.
How will you describe this judgment?
This judgment is a judgment of the people. It really shows that definitely we are getting there gradually in this country, because the tension of people for the past 2-3 days, it was so high. We hope that maybe they are going to upturn the victory of the people, but at the end, we appreciate God Almighty for the victory He has been given to us.
What is now your expectation from the governor now that the...
My expectation from him, he has started and he started well. For the past 100 days in office, he has done excellence well. He has, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of employment, many things. He has done many things that people were even what he did for the past 100 days is amazing. It's something that people doesn't even expect from him, but he really surprised and disappoints many people, because most of them didn't expect him to perform in that way. So we appreciate God for that. And more so, after this judgment, I believe he will have confidence, and he have more confidence to do more than what he has been even doing before. So I urge my people in Osun to be calm and more so to expect something great for His Excellency Senator Nuruddin Jackson Ademola Adeleke.
Thank you very much. How do you see this judgment?
In fact, I'm one of the most excited persons this afternoon, because what we are expecting before is that they want to overthrow the judgment, but we thank God because the judgment, Nigeria judiciary is now performing excellently, and we are all excited.
Thank you very much. You heard all people are excited about the judgment at the Supreme Court today.
All right.
It's been 9 months of legal battle in Osun State.
Very well, Femi. Thank you so much for giving us the ambience in Ede. Okay, meanwhile, Osun State Governor Senator Ademola Adeleke has described the Supreme Court judgment affirming him as the duly elected governor of Osun State as the voice of the people of the state. Adeleke stated this shortly after the judgment at his residence in Ede.
To all stakeholders in Osun State, be assured that the validation of our mandate is a challenge, a call to duty a fresh demand for more dividends of democracy. I commit myself to an even more expanded delivery of good governance. In me, you will find a truthful pro-people governor. I seek support and cooperation of all Osun residents and citizens, irrespective of party affiliations. This is our state, and we must join hands to develop it.
Still staying with the judiciary, the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, has urged the Presidential Election Petition Court to allow proceedings at the court transmitted live. This was part of the interlocutory applications pending before the court at the pre-hearing session on the remaining 4 petitions. Judiciary correspondent Austin Aibe reports.
Counsel to Atiku Abubakar and the People's Democratic Party, Chris Uche, senior advocate of Nigeria, told the court after adopting answers provided in the pre-hearing information sheet that he filed an interlocutory application seeking live telecast of the proceedings at the court. This, he said, would give the public opportunity to be part of the hearing, praying the court to give the application urgent attention. Respondents' counsel, including Abubakar Mahmood, Akin Olujumi, and Lateef Fagbemi, all senior advocates of Nigeria, after adopting answers to questions in the pre-hearing form, said they were served on Monday with the application for the live coverage of proceedings and shall file their replies within the stipulated time. The 5-man panel of justices of the Presidential Election Petition Court, headed by Justice Haruna Simon Samani, adjourned the matter to Thursday this week for further pre-hearing session on the petition. The other petition entertained at the section was that of the Allied People's Movement, challenging the declaration of Bola Tinubu as the winner of the February 25th presidential election. Joined in the petition are INEC, APC, Bola Tinubu, Kashim Shettima, and Kabiru Masawe, who was Tinubu's vice presidential candidate placeholder after the primary election. Both the petitioners and respondents' counsel adopted answers given to questions posed to them in the pre-hearing conference forms. The court adjourned to Thursday for further pre-hearing on the petition.
Brought up the issue of the motion on notice which we filed and which we served on all the parties in the case. That is the motion for the live televising of the proceedings in this case.
The whole essence of the pre-hearing section is to upgrade and streamline processes, and so far, appreciable successes have been made. From the Court of Appeal, Abuja, Osun and NTA News.
Thank you, Austin. And elsewhere, the National Human Rights Commission has resumed sitting on the alleged human rights violations by the military during counter-insurgency operations in the northeast. Omenka Marachiku completes the report.
Just recently, there were media reports alleging that the Nigerian troops in the ongoing counter-insurgency operations in the northeast were conducting illegal abortion and other forms of human rights abuses. These allegations prompted the institution of an independent investigative panel to assess the level of alleged human rights abuses. Testifying before the 7-man panel, Major General James and General Olufemi Sue described the allegations as baseless.
I command as a brigade commander between March 2016 and November 2016. The area of operation of responsibility of 22 Armored Brigade covers from Mafa up to Dikwa, from Dikwa up to Gambarungala.
I want to, with due respect to a member of the panel, first of all say that allegation is not true. We are professional soldiers as far as this Africa is concerned.
At the time of this report, no victim of the alleged commission of crimes have surfaced. In Abuja, Omenka Marachiku, NTA News.
He In other news, the First Lady of Nigeria, Aisha Buhari, and the outgoing President of the Africa First Lady Mission has inaugurated the newly constructed permanent secretariat of the mission along Airport Road, Abuja, with optimism of strengthening the advocacy of the First Ladies of Africa towards promoting peace and development in the continent, particularly as it affects women, youth, and children. State House correspondent Aliu Kabir reports that the First Lady also reaffirmed her determination to remain focused in her advocacy towards contributing to the mitigation of violent conflict in Africa and minimizing its negative impact on the people, especially women and children. She called on all the key players to come on board to achieve the target.
Of violence which push people to accept and unleash violence on innocent victims, the majority of whom are women and children.
This Africa is all we have, and what a rich continent. What a rich continent. We can be prudent. We can look at our resources. We can exploit them.
This project is a culmination of hard work by Africans for Africans. So it's very important that for all the ideals that the African First Ladies Mission is established for, we should all work for this project.
Reaffirmed their support to the African First Ladies in their resolve to obtain lasting peace within the continent. The event was attended by the First Ladies from across the continent and the former First Ladies, as well as the representatives of the African Union, among others. ECOWAS Parliament First Ordinary Session 2023 is underway in Abuja to review the political, security and economic situation in the West African sub-region, especially the progress made so far in restoring constitutional order in member states currently under military intervention. Onengie Fineface reports.
ECOWAS Parliament 2023 First Ordinary Session opened with a recognition of the exemplary and leadership role of Nigeria in West Africa, illustrated in the peaceful conduct of the 2023 general elections. This has attracted a commitment by the ECOWAS Commission to deploy necessary electoral assistance to other member states preparing for elections, including Guinea-Bissau, Sierra Leone, and Liberia.
In this regard, I would like to commend the government and the people of Nigeria for their political maturity, which has made it possible to organize peaceful presidential and legislative elections. I take this opportunity to warmly congratulate the President-elect, His Excellency Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and to reiterate to him the community's full readiness to work closely with him on matters affecting our region.
Specific issues on the agenda of the session includes the transitional processes unfolding in Mali, Guinea and Burkina Faso, as well as proliferation of small arms and light weapons, threatening peace and sustainable development in the Sahel region.
The questions of transborder crime, human trafficking, threats to democracy, conflicts and insurgencies, unemployment and underemployment, and the general well-being of the people are still very significant matters that need our continuous attention.
The session presents members of parliament the opportunity to create awareness and push for the direct election of members into the ECOWAS Parliament.
We have made sufficient advocacy for the election of members by direct universal suffrage, which we believe is vital towards giving this body more enhanced power and build our capacity to adequately exert our influence as a truly legislative body.
ECOWAS Parliament 2023 First Ordinary Session considers the draft work program of the ECOWAS Commission, reviews reports of member states, considers referrals from the ECOWAS Commission, as well as reports of various standing, joint and ad hoc committees on special missions. In Abuja, Onengie Fineface NTA News.
Adiola Komiakere is in our Lagos Network Center with more reports from the Center of Excellence. Good afternoon, Adiola, and over to you.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Nolan. One of the benefits that come from being delisted from the rank of piracy-prone countries is significant reduction in insurance premium for ships doing business in the country. Chief of the Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Zubair Awal Gambo, says having kept pirates and other sea criminals at bay to earn Nigeria the status, the Nigerian Navy will continue to secure the nation's maritime domain for the growth of blue economy in the country. Adeleke Taiwo reports that he made the promise in Lagos while inaugurating landmark projects in naval bases and commands across the state.
From the chopper, straight to inspection of guard of honor mounted for him in line with military tradition. Then to the business of the day, which is mainly to inaugurate about 12 projects spread across bases in the 3 naval commands in the Lagos area. The project, including a girls' hostel at the Nigerian Navy School, Ojo, administrative block at Tongiji Island, 2 blocks of 16 by 2 bedrooms for senior rates and a block of 8 bedrooms for officers at Navy Town, Ojo, shoreline revetment at NNSB Croft, and the headquarters of Naval Doctrine Command, Bonny Camp, are all initiated to consolidate on the comprehensive infrastructural transformation plan by the Nigerian Navy.
They hasten necessary comfort and essential ambience to bolster security, productivity, and efficiency.
The projects are also part of building blocks for the future, one that sees the Nigerian Navy well positioned to promote the right atmosphere for the nation's blue economy.
Efforts must be doubled round the clock to maintain positive postures towards sustained intelligence-driven patrols to rid our maritime space of all forms of insecurity.
The visit by the Chief of the Naval Staff to Lagos for project inauguration is a fitting prelude to a presidential fleet review scheduled by the Nigerian Navy to honor the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, President Muhammadu Buhari. In Lagos, Adeleke Taiwo, NTA News.
The logjam at the Lagos-Ibadan expressway due to reconstruction of a road have received increased attention from traffic agencies to ease the difficulties motorists are encountering on the roads. Larry Bilay visited the area for a situation report.
Work is still ongoing on the express road, which has narrowed the road considerably for motorists plying the road. While the road leading out of Lagos has light traffic, the inward road into the city is heavy, but there is a steady movement, and this is due to security agents and traffic agencies ensuring that the narrowed road is not jammed. Some are still taking a huge risk driving against the traffic. Motorists and people living in the area believed the road reconstruction work is still slow.
A situation where government did not give them the deadline. These are the type of things that we will continue to experience. This slow pace of doing a job that should not last up to a month.
Motor have been having faults due to this traffic, due to the heat. It's affecting motor, it's affecting too much. I spend no less than 4-5 hours. You hold up. What do you need? Running fuel up and down.
They express hope that the ongoing work will pick up to ease the hardship being experienced on the expressway. In Lagos, Lanre Bilayi, NTA News.
And those are the stories from Lagos for now. Do not forget to follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on our other social media handles displayed on the screen for updates. Nationwide will continue in Kaduna with Salamatu after this time out. To stay with us.
on the network service of the NTA, and glad to have you join us here in Kaduna. Deaf Women Association of Nigeria, Northwest Zone, is calling on government at all levels for favorable policies that will promote inclusion of persons with disabilities in all aspects of life. This is the course at the 4th Northwest Zonal Summit held in Kaduna with the theme recognizing deaf women's right to achieve gender equality and diversity. Let's hear more from Bilkisu Nuhu.
These women gathered from Kaduna, Kano, Kebbi, Jigawa, Sokoto and Zamfara states make up representatives of deaf women from the Northwest Zone. The aim of the summit is to promote their well-being and fashion ways their voices can be heard and included in governance.
Their disability is lack of hearing and lack of public understanding. So like when they have interpreters in places, like hospitals, schools or like workplaces, they will be heard and understood, and that's the only thing they need.
They have gifts, they have certificates, they are qualified, they have good qualifications. Give them the rooms, give them the opportunity to work for you, to have a role in your offices, to have a position in your offices.
Key players are advocating for equal opportunities and change of attitude of society by understanding that deaf women are human beings too and very exceptional.
Disabilities are at the severe end. They are facing more challenges. Their challenges are more profound, are more severe.
Kaduna State Special Education School is among the agile schools where we have 80% of hearing impaired girls are benefiting.
Those who have been supporting the association over the years were recognized for their contributions. Deaf Women Association of Nigeria is a non-governmental organization formed to advocate for the rights of deaf women and make their voices heard in society. In Kaduna, Bilkisu Nuhu, NTA News.
Determined to achieve food sufficiency, the Kaduna State Agricultural Development Agency, in collaboration with non-governmental organizations, trained farmers on how to use organic fertilizer for optimal results. Habiba Tuga has the details.
Organic fertilizers enhance soil tilth, reduce erosion, and increase fertility status of the soil for greater productivity. It's for this reason that these farmers were properly sensitized on how to use the fertilizer for improved yield.
When you compare it with the conventional section, see that the output here is more than 3 times over there. Imagine harvested over 10 times here compared with what he has harvested at the other end. So this is what we are preaching.
This soil condition requires much water, but in terms of yield, he said he has harvested 10 baskets in a quarter of a hectare, and it has not stopped flowering at the moment.
The farmers visited farms where organic fertilizers have been used to see first-hand impact of the With this sensitization, farmers' expectation for a bumper harvest are high. In Zaria, Habiba Tuga, NTA News.
And Habiba Tuga's report conclude our package from Kaduna. We now rejoin Nolin in our Abuja studio. Good evening, Nolin.
Good evening, Salamatu. Thank you very much. This is Abuja. Senate has confirmed the nomination of 7 persons for appointment as board members of the Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation, NDIC. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Nko reports on this and other proceedings at Senate plenary.
Senate at Tuesday's plenary continued with its confirmatory functions. This time, it approved the appointment of 7 persons as board members of the Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation, with Abdul Hakim Mobalaji from Southwest as chairman.
The nominees proved to be very conversant with the workings of the governing board of NDIC.
Yes. Congratulations to all of them. We wish them very, very fruitful, peaceful, and productive tenure.
The legislators also received requests for the confirmation of 3 nominees who are to fill in vacant positions in the board of the Niger Delta Development Commission.
As members representing Delta, Edo, and Imo states in the board of Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC. 1. Bernard Obo Atahieren, member, Delta representative. 2. Patrick Aisoweren, member, representing Edo State. And 3. Kirian Chidibere Uchegbu, member, Imo State, representing Imo.
Senate, for the second time, stepped down the consideration of the 2023 budget of the Commission, pending the provision of details on the performance of part of the budget already spent, as it constituted another committee to investigate alleged unauthorized expenditure by the Commission in the 2021 and 2022 budget.
And we should set up an investigation, an ad hoc investigation committee to find out what happened. This new board, Mr. President, have just been inaugurated, and the budget for 2023 was submitted right on time, Mr. President.
To investigate 2021 and 2022 financial years, what happened in terms of revenue and expenditures in the Niger Delta Development Commission.
The Agricultural Research Council Act Amendment Bill, Federal Produce Inspection Service Enforcement Establishment Bill, and the Petroleum Tanker Safety Bill were passed.
Ensuring the availability, quality, reliability, affordability, and safety of tankers and trucks involved in the haulage of transportation, petroleum products, and other cargoes in the country.
The bill that seeks to domesticate the African Union Convention for the Protection and Assistance of Internally Displaced Persons passed first reading. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
Still staying with the National Assembly, the presiding officers of the Senate and the House of Representatives have met with senators and House members-elect of the 10th Assembly. The engagement provided an opportunity for the National Assembly leadership to present their achievements, challenges, and in particular, the approach adopted to make the 9th National Assembly outstanding. National Assembly correspondent Lamia Lee reports.
This is the first formal engagement between the returnees and the new senators and members-elect. It is part of the induction for the 10th Assembly legislators, the first stage in the passage of rights to be acquainted with what it takes to have the titles of Distinguished and Honorable. President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, and the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, gave a narrative of their stewardship. While noting the misperceptions and misunderstanding by some Nigerians, the two leaders gave account of what they did differently for the collective good.
The 9th National Assembly adopted a friendly but professional approach to executive-legislative relations. The 9th National Assembly has broken many jinxes and done many firsts, overcoming traditional obstacles through consensus building and clever political briskmanship. Remarkably, 104 bills of the 9th Senate have been passed and assented to by President Muhammadu Buhari, making this significantly higher than those of previous assemblies.
Whether you're here for a day or forever, your obligation remains the same: to serve with integrity and courage, to make wise decisions on behalf of the people who you represent, and to ensure that whenever your time here is up, you can walk away with confidence that comes from knowing in your heart that you did the best you could with what you were given.
We must also strive to educate the teeming mass of our people of proper place of the legislature as the pillar of democracy.
The National Assembly bureaucracy highlighted their roles in the legislature for efficiency. Partners in building capacity of Nigerian lawmakers gave hints on the work ahead.
We have worked with our partners on constitutional and legislative reforms that reflect the aspiration of the Nigerian people.
There are unfinished businesses, including the unfinished business of making sure that our local governments work, the unfinished business of ensuring that we have more women sitting among senators and House members. The figures has worsened.
The 10th National Assembly is expected to be inaugurated in June 2023. Lami Ali, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the All Progressives Congress Critical Stakeholders Forum has welcomed the decision of the National Working Committee of the party in its zoning formula on the leadership of the 10th Senate. The forum says the choice of the 10th President of the Senate and his deputy from South, South and Northwest was a total reflection of the will of the majority and would engender active participation and foster unity in all the businesses of the incoming Senate. The stakeholders, however, advised the party leadership to apply wisdom in dealing with issues surrounding the emergence of the next speaker, saying APC did not secure majority of the seats in the lower chamber.
Because it will cause a major setback to the implementation of the renewed hope manifesto of the APC and Mr. President-elect Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We advise that if the party must meddle into the politics of the House of Representatives, it must consider acceptability, credibility, and capacity to win over opposition members to the side of our party to have a stable leadership after the inauguration.
The forum appealed for the fielding of an experienced and competent lawmaker and ensure positive alliances prevail with other opposition parties in the House for the actualization of the renewed hope mantra advanced by the President-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu. As Nigeria prepares to usher in a new government on May 29, financial experts say Nigerians have to be prepared for the difficult changes needed to improve the economy. Discussing stabilizing the Naira for a second time consecutively, economic experts recommended that the incoming government should pay attention to the country's debt profile. Ekemini Williams has details.
The state of the Naira has been a recurring concern to Nigerians as it signposts the delicate state of the economy in spite of numerous interventions by regulatory authorities to stabilize the currency. Financial experts with public and private sector exposure attributed the present situation to factors such as ineffective leadership, low productive capacity, the high level of technology imports, high debt profile, and poverty rate, among others. They believe the monetary authority needs to be more creative in dealing with the prevailing dynamics.
But then there are certain bitter pills that we have to swallow. Take, for example, the issue of subsidy. We know that subsidy is not sustainable. We know, but we are still going along with it.
The MPC guys are professionals in their own regard. Sometimes they pander too much to the theoretical issues in economic books that if you raise interest rate, inflation will fall. What we have seen in recent time is that the more they raise the interest rate, the more the inflation is going up. Meaning that they must look at the multi-faceted, multi-variables that affect where inflation goes apart from interest rate.
The experts advise the incoming administration to focus attention on areas such as expanding the tax net, further diversification of the economy, development of seaports, as well as policies that encourage patronage of made-in-Nigeria products.
Now, at least we have some automobiles that are still being produced in this country. So why should official vehicles be other brands other than the ones that we're producing in this country? The government should now encourage them also by putting a bit more higher tariff for for imports of some of these counterparts, so as to encourage the local ones.
VAT in quite a number of claims are as high as 15%, 20%. Ours is still somewhere around 7.5%. We may need to up that rate.
The next government should avoid as much as possible commercial external loans because they are expensive. Focus more, if we must borrow, on domestic debts and then concessional foreign loans if they are available. And even when we are borrowing domestically, we should use the right instruments. We shouldn't be using more of FGM bonds, but we do more of infrastructure bonds. We do more of sukuk.
They emphasized the importance of patriotism and employing competence and experienced leadership to drive national goals. In Abuja, Ekemini Williams, NTA News.
Obehi Otubo Prisai is standing by in our Benin studio for the next set of reports from that axis. Obehi, what is going on in Benin today?
Nothing, not much, but we sure have some update on security issues. Good to see you, by the way. Governor Godwin Obaseki has approved a 90-day joint security operation to help combat criminal activities in Adeleke and Okomu forest reserves. The governor granted the approval at a meeting with a consulting firm that oversees the restoration and preservation of the parks. Elizabeth Amoko reports.
Intelligence reports indicate that there has been the presence of a large number of criminals within the Okomo and Adeleke parks in recent times, thereby posing danger to legal logging activities in the reserves. It is to flush out these criminal elements that the governor is taking the decision for the operation, which should be carried out by a team of armed men comprising the police, military, forest rangers, and the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps. Governor Obaseki warns that anyone found around the parks within the period of the exercise will be dealt with squarely.
This is going to be a 90-day exercise. We're going to be sourcing for the support and help of the Chief of Army Staff to make sure that the new rangers that we have just trained are going to be policing that park are protected and safe. The cost to our environment cannot be quantified. So this is an issue that is of great concern to the people and government of Edo State, and I'm now mandating a special 90-day operation, and nobody who should not be in that game reserve or in that forest should be found wanting.
The operation, according to the director of the firm, Brigadier General Latuji Laleye, retired, is critical to preserving the forest assets and protecting the surrounding communities.
I am glad and delighted to hear His Excellency giving us his full cooperation on this issue.
The operation, expected to take off as soon as possible, will have a special team constituted immediately. In Benin, Elizabeth Amoko, NTA News.
Still on security, Edo State Police Command has paraded 15 suspects for alleged stealing, armed robbery and cultism. Also paraded were 2 suspects in army uniform who claimed to be personnel of the Nigerian Navy and Correctional Service respectively. Goodluck Enaini completes the report.
The police arrested the 2 suspects in army uniforms in Ekpoma after robbing a driver of his car in Sapele.
He now give us the car, we drive with him, we now go drop him for what? We carry the cargo.
The 12 suspected cultists, whose ages are between 20 and 30 years, are members of the dreaded Aye confraternity and were arrested in different locations while performing initiations, while the other one was arrested for stealing armored cable from Benin Electricity Distribution Company along Upper Mission and Upper Lawani axis of Benin City.
I'm a cultist. I joined April 1st, 2022.
For the whole meeting, the police call meet us there. They call patrol of they call cash about 12 of us for there.
The Command's Public Relations Officer Chidiwa Buzo commends the promptness of the police and assures the citizens of the readiness of the police to protect their lives.
To ensure that Edo is peaceful, to ensure that people go about their normal and legitimate businesses. The Edo State Police Command operatives are out there to checkmate them and bring them to book.
Useful statements have been made by the suspects who will appear in court when investigations are concluded. In Benin, Goodluck Enaini, NTA News.
That's the latest for now from Benin. Nationwide continues with Felicia and Jos right after this break.
Still on to Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. Welcome to JOS. To ensure high standard of regimentation is maintained by personnel of the Nigerian Army, a one-week convention for regimental sergeant majors from across the Army formations is ongoing in Jos, the Plateau State capital. Sadat Mohammed Kafa reports that more than 300 RSMs are participating, and the Chief of Army Staff is represented by Major General O.M. Basi, Director, Research Development Bureau, Army Headquarters.
The role of regimental sergeant majors in upholding the tenets of professionalism in the social media era is the theme of the 7 days convention and is aimed at regulating social media usage by men of the Nigerian Army and to also address insecurity in the country. Participants here are expected to be abreast with new trends, policies and plans of the Nigerian Army and ensure monitoring of social media usage.
The Nigerian Army cannot operate outside what is happening at home. But we cannot completely ban our troops in the domain of social media. But how can we get the benefits? How can we mitigate the challenges? That is the hallmark of this seminar.
Chief of Administration, Army Headquarters, represented by Director Personnel Services, Major General Jimmy Apple, says soon the Nigerian Army will be going through a series of changes and innovations in order to suit contemporary situations. This Regimental Sergeant Majors Convention is the first of its kind in Jos. Sadat Mohammed Kafa, NTA News.
Still on security issues, in a bid to encourage proactive and efficient community policing on the plateau, the State Police Command met with 17 local government chairmen to address all the security challenges peculiar to each of the councils. Ruth Stephen Hoke reports that all area commanders, divisional police officers and tactical team commanders in the state were in attendance.
Local government administration is the closest arm of government to the people. That is why its impact is felt in all facets of life. This informed the decision of the State Police Command to partner with the chairman of the 17 local governments in the state to encourage them to rise up to the occasion in synergy with the police for the protection of lives and property, which he said is paramount.
You are facility to control them, and they should not dictate for you. You are facility to move.
Deliberation focused on community policing, farmer and herders conflict, illegal mining activities, general security, as well as other issues peculiar to each of the local government areas. The chairmen, who were appreciative of the initiative by the commissioner, described the interface as timely as the rainy season sets in, taking cognizance of the high cases of farmer-herder conflicts, which they said the synergy will curtail.
We discussed, deliberated, and come up with measures that will help cope the situation. One of the key things was that there was the profiling of all operators in those mining sites.
The 17 local government chairmen promised to sustain the relative peace enjoyed in their areas. In Jos, Ruth Stephen Hoki, NTA News.
Those are the stories from Jos. Is back to Nolin in Abuja for the continuation of Nationwide.
Thank you very much, Felicia. And talking security, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahya, says the Nigerian Army succeeded in reducing to its barest minimum the activities of insurgency across the country through determination and renewed combat readiness. He stated this at the opening session of the 2023 Combat Arms Training Week in Bauchi. Awal Abdullahi reports.
Combat Arms Training is a week-long event organized by the Nigerian Army Infantry and Armored Corps aimed at improving the capacity of personnel for effective service delivery. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahya, and the Bauchi State Governor, Senator Bala Mohammed, described the program as timely and commended President Muhammadu Buhari for his support toward transforming the Nigerian Army in the areas of provision of adequate equipment and capacity building, among others.
Now that the combat arms are committed in several operations within and outside the country, I must say that the combat arms have been performing incredibly well in discharge of their assigned missions with remarkable, I say remarkable successes. In line with global best practice, it is usual for the armed forces to train regularly in order to maintain combat readiness.
The event featured the public presentation of the book titled Lieutenant General Farouk Yahya, Counter-Terrorism and Counter-Insurgency Theory Made Practice. Capacity building for operational efficiency of combat arms in a joint environment is a theme for this year's Combat Arms Training Week. In Bauchi, Awal Abdullahi, NTA News.
Let's join Gift George for stories trending in the world of sports. President Muhammadu Buhari shares in the grief of loss with former Senate President Ken Nnamani and his family over the passing of his wife Jane Udewu Nnamani. In a statement through the special advisor to the president on media and publicity, Femi Adesina, the president believes the good works of the late wife of Senator Nnamani will always be remembered by her friends and associates, particularly her community, where she has been a source of hope and succor for many. President Buhari urges the Nnamani family to look unto the Lord at this very difficult moment of pain and deep reflection, knowing that help comes only from him. The president, however, prays for God's comforting arms over the family and a peaceful rest for the departed. Similarly, President-elect Bola Tinubu is condoling with the former Senate President Ken Nnamani over the passing of his wife, Mrs. Jane Udewu Nnamani. In a statement issued from his office, the President-elect notes the good work done by the deceased for God and her community while alive. While praying for a repose of the soul of the deceased, Tinubu also beseeches God to console and comfort Senator Nnamani and his family. And that concludes Nationwide. Thank you for watching. I am Nolin Ebel Ame. Do enjoy the rest of your evening.